Hi, also. I'm just currently on my bed with a blanket over my head, just looking at the mirror. Well, I want to tell you a story, and it's happened in my kitchen. It's crazy. It's like I think this thing happened like January to be specific. Don't really remember the particular day. Definitely, I won't remember. I just journaled it. So yes, that's why I titled this "My Kitchen Chronicles." It was just a midnight eater, so I love eating in the midnight. I went to the kitchen as usual, started cooking my thing. I think it was like around 1 that day. It was a Sunday. I watched Transformation Church on Sundays. I was frequent at a point in time, but now I'm not frequent. Most times I'm sleeping in the evenings because yes, sleeping is life. Yeah, that's just it. So yes, I was cooking that day. I was listening to it. I think it was a rebroadcast of the message Pastor Mike preached that Sunday. So it was actually meant to be a message, but Holy Spirit, is it interrupted? Is that the right word? So Holy Spirit came through. I think that's what I would just say. So they started worshiping. They ended up worshiping throughout the service, and it was fire. I loved it too. I was just cooking, doing my thing, worshiping, singing with them. And before that time, one thing has actually been bothering me. I had this feeling. I used to have sleeping paralysis so much at that time that at some point I got like this fear to sleep alone in the room alone. So if my roommate isn't around, I'll go to my friend's house. I realized that at that point I could have spoken to God about it. I did, but not really. But I started using like human beings. How would I put it now? I think the word is I started finding security in human beings instead of God, which is a wrong thing. That is a way of idolatry. I started idolizing their presence, yes, to feel secure, rather than actually depending on God, which is actually terrible. But I did it for a while. I remember this particular day. Oh my God, it was so terrible. Can you believe I didn't sleep throughout that whole day? In the night, I stayed awake all because I was like, oh my God, if I sleeping paralysis, it's actually a terrible thing. It feels like you are awake, but you are dead. I don't know how to. You can check on. I just check sleeping paralysis. Sleeping. You get me, as long as you get me. That's all that matters. So yes, I just had that fear at that point in time. So I was in the kitchen just worshiping. Then I think it's one of the times I'll say I began to hear God clearly. It was just like, and I was actually still having so many things on my mind. Then I just heard "Come as you are." I'm like, what? Like, when I say that thing actually wrecked me, it like wrecked me. Like, it was like Holy Spirit was just like, "Come as you are," even with that fear, even with that. Yes, I was idolizing people instead of finding security in God. I started putting people in the place of God. Yes, that's what idolatry means. So Holy Spirit, like, I'm doing something shitty, to be honest, but is shitty a word I should say out? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know, but yeah. So I started doing. Holy Spirit just told me that like, come as you are, and I realized one thing that you can have until today. I remember that word because in so many situations when I'm going through different days, I remember when Holy Spirit told me, "Come as you are." So if I'm afraid, instead of struggling with guilt, instead of like so many things in different positions, whenever I remember that Holy Spirit told me, "Come as you are," I just come and say, Holy Spirit, this is where I am. This is where I am currently. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. Help me. Work in me. That's one thing that has really helped me. I realized that you can have an encounter with God anyway. I was literally in the kitchen 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. I'm like, bro, people are meant to be sleeping, but yes, as usual, my usual self, yes, I was cooking. So give me a pot belly, who cares? I don't know if you do, but I don't care. So that's just one thing I just wanted to tell you, that an encounter with God can happen anywhere. Location doesn't limit the voice of God. a place doesn't, location, wherever you are, God can still. I think the thing we should live with that consciousness that Jesus is everywhere. That also would rub off on what we do, what we say. That's one thing I'm learning in this season, that gossiping, yes, I that's one thing that I didn't think I used to do. This self-righteousness, but I realized that sometimes we think that we're just talking about this thing, but that is gossiping. There are some things you're meant to tell God instead of telling that person, because when you are telling that person, you won't heal from it. But when you tell God, God will help you to heal from that thing. So those simple things is that you don't realize that when you are saying that thing, God is there, God is everywhere. So that's just one thing. It's a beautiful story that I just want you to learn from, and have a nice day. See you in the next, would I call it episode? I really don't know. But see you in the next 1 second. Yeah.